And I do. I take this, I'll tell you right now, when I speak about these things, and you'll know it when you leave here, it comes from right here in my gut. Because I take this personally. I do. My parents raised me, and I bet all of you feel the same way. My parents raised me from the time I was this big to believe that the men and women who worked in the mill with them are worth every bit as much as the man that owns that mill. And the people I grew up with, including my own father and mother, are worth every bit as much as any president of the United States. That is at the heart and soul of what makes this country what it is today. That is the promise of America. It is. So what are we going to be willing to do about this? What are we going to do? I met a man named James Lowe a few months ago, 51 years old. Told me a story. We were in the Appalachian Mountains, sitting on a picnic table early in the morning. And James said to me, you know, I was born with a cleft palate, and because I had it, I couldn't speak. A simple operation would have fixed it. But he had no health care coverage. Finally, somebody came along and fixed his cleft palate, and now he could talk. He was 51. They fixed it when he was 50 years old. James Lowe lived 50 years in America, not able to speak because he had no health care coverage. And he was so kind and gracious. He really did remind me of the people that I grew up with who worked in the mill with my dad. But I was listening to his story, and I felt such power inside me. How long are we going to let insurance companies, drug companies, their lobbyists run this country? America doesn't belong to them. America belongs to us. James Lowe finally got his voice back. Don't you think it's time for your voice to be heard? That's what this democracy is. And I listen to these numbers coming out of Washington. I know you all see them too. The CEO of the biggest health insurance company in America making hundreds of millions of dollars. Not millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. ExxonMobil, record profits. The profits of big corporations going up and up and up. The richest Americans getting richer and richer. The top 1% now take twice as much of the national income as they did 20 to 25 years ago. And I look at that and I think about, just put it in my mind, side by side with what's happening in America. Because today, while that CEO makes hundreds of millions of dollars, 47 million Americans will go to sleep tonight knowing that if their child gets sick, they're going to have to go to the emergency room and beg for health care. 37 million will wake up tomorrow morning literally worried about feeding and clothing their children. Just a couple of days ago, I spent time in a shelter out in Iowa with some women, single moms, with their children, and the people, really sweet people who ran the place, were telling me the story of just a few months ago, and I don't remember the numbers precisely, but I think it was 70, 75 families, a small place. 70, 75 families they had to turn away. These are single mothers with children, 3, 4 children. And I said to them, so when you turn them away, where do they go? Back to their cars. Back to the bridges. At the same time that we have record profits for corporate America. Last year, 35 million Americans in the richest nation on the planet, roughly the population of California, went hungry. 35 million. And tonight, 200,000 men and women who wore the uniform of the United States of America will go to sleep under bridges and on grates. America's better than this. We're better than this. And I'll tell you something. Something's going to happen starting right here on January the 8th, right here in New Hampshire. This is what's going to happen. You're going to say enough is enough. We want this democracy back. You're going to rise up and your voice is going to be heard, and it will be heard not just in New Hampshire. All those people with cameras in the back, they won't even know what hit them. They're going to say, what is going on here? There will be a rising and a tidal wave that will spread across this country that will bring a change. When we stand up for 47 million Americans who have no health care coverage, America rises. When we stand up for 35 million who went hungry last year, America rises. When we stand up for 37 million who live in poverty, America rises. When we and millions like it. America rises, and that rising will begin right here with you in New Hampshire on January the 8th.